Hey everybody, welcome to NWR TV. My name's John, and today we're going to talk about Mario. Mario has been around the question block a few times by now. He's done everything. He's raced, he's danced, he's painted. Not only has he mastered golf, tennis, baseball, soccer, and basketball, he's also an Olympic athlete. He's a star of both the big and small screens. He taught me to type, and he even briefly dabbled in hotel management. Oh, and he cured all diseases. Yeah, all three of them. No other gaming icon has done quite as much as Mario. In fact, if any of them did, it would seem ridiculous. Can you imagine Samus fighting Metroids one minute and enjoying a game of tennis the next? Well, let's look outside of Nintendo. Would Master Chief make a convincing doctor? How about a painter? How can Mario be one of the richest, most diverse characters in the entirety of pop culture without ever saying more than a few words? In the early days of video games, the player generally controlled a square, a paddle, maybe a spaceship if they were lucky. The rare human character was representative more of a vague concept than actual character traits. A cowboy, perhaps, but only because those few pixels created what somewhat resembled a hat. Mario was arguably the first human character to ever be designed. When Miyamoto made Mario, he didn't just make a man. He made an Italian construction worker with a love interest and an enemy. He wasn't a stick man, he was a plump, fully costumed character. That cowboy looks just like any other stick man, but Mario is instantly recognizable as Mario. But wait, now Mario has a brother, and do they work for a circus? Wait, he's a plumber now? One might argue that Miyamoto's fleshed out character isn't fleshed out at all, but rather an ambiguous fat guy in a hat. But that's exactly what makes Mario the character that he is. He's a fat guy in a hat. Just like anyone, his job doesn't define him. You wouldn't think someone is completely changed just because they change jobs. Mario is just like you and me. He's a short little guy who's in love and, according to Miyamoto, is not very attractive. Quite simply, that's why he can do whatever he wants. And yet, not everything Mario does goes over well with his fans. Let's take a look at some of Mario's less successful exploits. These aren't the games, well, some aren't even the games at all, that scored less than 10 out of 10, but rather the ones that were just embarrassingly bad. Hotel Mario, the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, and the Super Mario Bros. Movie. These three entries into the Mario Anthology have one crucial thing in common. Mario talks. A lot. Have you ever watched a character in a TV show and then watched an interview with the actor who plays them and found out that they don't sound like you think they should? It throws you off, and you can't watch that character anymore without seeing their real voice lurking beneath the facade. Now imagine you had 30 years of history with a character who you never heard say more than a few words. On top of that, this is a character that's controlled by you, and whose design is specifically intended to turn him into an everyman, someone you immediately relate to. Then he talks, in full sentences. The odds that this character is going to line up with the character that you've created over the past few decades is astronomically small, and with that, you no longer relate to Mario. The concept of Mario as a hotel manager is no more ridiculous than any other occupation he's taken up in the past 30 years. The stories in Mario's animated series are charming and fun for kids. Bob Hoskins is a great actor who bears a pretty good resemblance to Mario. But before Hotel Mario even has enough time to get to the subpar gameplay, before you get into the bad animation of the Mario Super Show, before Dennis Hopper even gets a chance to make bad puns, Mario opens his mouth, and what proceeds out of it isn't the Mario we know, or rather, the Mario we created.
It's from Bowser! Dear pesky plumbers!
Mario is what's commonly referred to as a silent protagonist, or more specifically, a blank slate character. A blank slate character is used to tell the player that they are the character. You project your values, your personality onto Mario, who is your gateway into the game world. The alternative is what's called a predefined character. These characters have very heavily developed traits and are very vocal about their role in the story. You as a player are not intended to fill a void, but rather pretend to be this character. Take Fox McCloud from Star Fox, for example. He's a fully developed character who we pretend to be while playing Star Fox, but we don't assert our own motivations because his motivation is laid out clearly for us. Anyway, as a blank slate character, Mario is a perfect vessel for us to enter the game world, and his pliable nature makes him suitable for many environments. This has an interesting effect on the gaming public. Even though Mario doesn't have much character of his own, we the player see him as our friend, an anchor in whatever unfamiliar world he takes us to. I'm not a big fan of JRPGs, but if I'm playing as Mario, I feel a lot more comfortable. That right there is why Mario is not only able to occupy so many different game genres, but have them all be successful. He opens the mind of the most casual players to new genres that they would never before have taken an interest in. Remember the jump from 2D to 3D back in the N64 days? That transition went a lot smoother when it had that old familiar Mario to hold our hand through it. Mario is an eternal friend to the gaming world, but only as long as he's 20% Mario and 80% us. He exists as a slightly different person for every player around the world, and yet, he always represents the same thing: fun. Thank you very much for watching this video. Be sure to tell me what you think down in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to Nintendo World Report TV. You can also check out a whole lot of other content over at NintendoWorldReport.com. Once again, my name is John Reardon. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day.